Reading High School and Pittsford High School in the house tonight. A couple of kids who not only dominated at the area's best track meet a couple of weeks ago and were both named Athlete of the Meet for the boys and the girls, but then went on and had incredible weekends at the state track meet. Welcome with me, if you would, from Reading High School, Michelle Davis, and from Pittsford High School, Andy Hauser. How you guys doing?
Good.
School's out for the summer.
Yes.
Life is good, and for Hauser, it's over forever.
Yeah.
Michelle, you're a junior.
Mm-hmm.
I had not realized that. Your coach, Deborah Price, has got a huge smile on her face right now. You're coming back. Michelle, we'll start with you for a couple of minutes. The area's best track meet. What about that? Because you've had this incredible season. The area's best is kind of an exhibition. It really doesn't count for anything. I've talked to kids in the past that were a little hesitant to go full bore at area's best because they didn't want to get hurt or they didn't want to tire themselves out or get injured or whatever the case may be. You go in there and have a great night at area's best. What was your approach going into that night?
I'm not sure. Just we always like to do our best on our relays, and that's where we broke the school record in the mile relay, so it was really exciting. And I was going for a few records that night, and I didn't think I'd be tired because we had quite a few days before state then.
So you weren't worried about it?
No, not that much.
Now, you have an interesting story because last year got off to a good start in track, and then tell everybody what happened.
I broke my foot.
So how did that, in a track meet or at an event?
Yeah, in the 300-meter hurdles.
So what happened?
Well, it was more of a stress fracture, so it was building up, and I could feel it hurting, and then just one time it just kind of really hurt itself when I landed, and then I had to go to the foot doctor, and I was out for the season.
So that was it for your sophomore year.
Yeah.
Now coming into this year, you'd obviously already done cross country, you'd already done basketball where you had a good season, so you knew the foot was healed and you were good to go. Did you think you had this kind of a season in you when the year started?
I wasn't expecting this much out of it, but it's really a great year for our whole team and me, and it's just really exciting.
Yeah, it was a decent year for you. Let's look at the statistics. Not only do you win Athlete of the Meet at Area's Best, along with Andy Hauser, who we'll talk to in a minute, you go to the state meet, you knock out a 400-meter relay championship, state title. Then you knock out a mile relay state championship, which is a fun race. I love the mile relay. It's hard to run, but it's fun to win. And then the 300 hurdles, not only do you win it and win a state championship, but you set the state record, not just the school record. You set a state record in your division for the 300 hurdles. Talk about that race.
I just went out full board, and I ended up hitting every hurdle and step, kind of lucky. But I had the adrenaline rush. So
now, was that, obviously it's the best time you'd ever run. Was it way better than you'd ever done before?
It was over half a second better, yeah.
So that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you have a goal next year to do what now with that?
Maybe get in the 42s and break, like, all division records.
So right now you're in the division what is it, Division 4?
Yeah.
So you'd like to be the fastest in the history of Michigan high school girls track.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Why not? You're already a quarter of the way there. You've got the Division 4.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Davis with us from Reading High School. Then you get third in the 100-meter dash. What's that like when you actually lose? I mean, is that weird for you?
Not in the 100. I lose that a lot. But I was happy to get third. I got a pretty good block start, and my coaches were helping me with my block starts a lot. So
how did you end up with this sort of cocktail of events? I mean, obviously you could do a lot of different events. Most people who run the 300s also do the 110s. How did you end up participating in those 4 events?
Well, I've never done the 100 hurdles, and I never used to do hurdles at all. I used to do the 400, and then they said if I was a good 400 runner, they could move me to the 300 hurdles, and I might be even better in that. So that's how that came about, but they still have me do a lot of sprints because that's where they need me.
If you're getting third in the state, then you're not losing very much in the 100 during the course of the season. And then not only do you have all of this individual success, which is amazing, 3 state championships, a state record, third in the 100, but then you look up and your team is second overall in the state. You guys had to be pumped up about that.
Yeah, it was great. It is so awesome to have our, Mrs. Price coach us like she does, and our whole team just be great. Our sprinters, our distance, we had like the whole package this year, and fast people for the whole relay. A lot of teams, like, they'll have one fast runner, but then their relays won't do that much because you need 4, and we have it.
Now, one of those fast runners you know really well.
Yeah.
Your sister, right?
Yeah, my sister Jenny.
So, obviously, she's a year behind you. She's a sophomore. What's that relationship like during track? How does that work out between sisters?
It's great. We do all our workouts together, and I don't know. She helps me, and I help her, and she always starts our relays, and I end them. So we have the same relays.
So these opponents, these other schools, are sick of the Davises. It's like, seriously, there's another one. That's great. Spectacular. So what team beat Reading in Division IV track? What was the one team you couldn't
Traverse City, St. Francis.
And they were solid.
Oh, yeah. They beat us by over 10 points. So.
But to take second is really cool. And the other thing about Reading, too, is you have such an incredible tradition of track there. I mean, you've had a million awesome athletes in track over the years.
We seem to always have a pretty good team.
So to have even a school record at Reading is a big deal.
Yeah.
And how many of them do you have right now?
3. 2 are relays.
2 relays and obviously the 300 hurdles. Andy Hauser, you might have heard on WCSR in the North Adams game when he two-fisted tomahawk slammed that puppy home. Obviously had a great basketball season. You get into track, Andy, and is track a sport that you really focus a lot on?
Yeah, just it's more individual, so I feel like if I don't do well, that can be put on me, and I don't like that feeling. So I always try to work the best I can.
You know, whenever I bring in a track student athlete, a lot of them say that same sort of thing. There's nobody to blame. You can't really get down on a teammate so much. It's kind of like wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, you're out there. It's more of an individual sport in a way, and you have nobody to blame but yourself. How hard did I train? You know, how focused was I going into this? And diet. For a lot of athletes, diet's a big part of it too. Do you watch what you eat during the track season?
I'm on a seafood diet. Whatever I see, I eat.
So you don't even think about diet.
Nope.
Michelle, is that a factor for you?
It is a little bit like on the meet days or the night before. I usually eat pasta the night before, and then the day of I try and eat a healthy lunch.
Do you both pound a bunch of Mountain Dew and Diet Pepsi all the time?
Not during the season.
I don't drink pop.
Track is pretty much a sport during which you don't want to drink a lot of pop.
Yeah.
So that one you both agree on. Now, you get into the area's best track meet. Obviously, you've had a good track season. To win the athlete of the meet, what did that mean to you, Andy?
Well, it just meant that I'm really not sure. It felt like all my hard work had paid off for the season.
What did you win that night at Area's Best?
I won the high jump, the 110 hurdles, and the 300 hurdles.
So you had a three win night.
Yep.
I think the Area's Best meet's a lot of fun because you do get to face all of the great athletes from the county. It's kind of a showcase. You went into it, got those 3 wins. They announced you as the athlete of the meet. Obviously, as a senior, that's your last opportunity to do that, so that's really special. And then, the following weekend, you get into the state track meet, and tell us about that day.
Well, it was great weather-wise, except we had about a 30-mile-an-hour headwind, but other than that, it was a
That doesn't sound great.
Well, temperature-wise, it was great. Wind-wise, not so great, but...
So a headwind is obviously working against you a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that more of a mental thing than anything, or is it really a physical toll on you a little bit, too?
The way I think about it is everybody else was running in it,
Right.
so it's no different. So
you get into Area's Best. Obviously, you won those 3 meets, and then you go into the state meet, and you get first place in the 110s. How special was it to be a state champion for you?
It felt great. I mean, I was just grateful that I had teammates to help push me. My coaches were great, and I had a lot of great kids running against me that helped me go even harder. So,
did you do anything else at the state meet?
I did high jump and the 4x2 relay.
But no state titles in those 2.
No.
So the 110s is the one where you took home the hardware.
Yep.
Going into the day, did you feel like you were going to have a pretty special day at the state meet?
I knew I was seated first, and I knew I'd have a lot of challenges, so I knew it was going to be tough, but I had a feeling inside me that I'd do well.
What about the 110s? I mean, I think in those hurdle races, I'm not an expert on track, but I'm just going to throw this out there and let you comment on it. Isn't a lot of it, obviously you have to be athletic and you have to have great speed, but a lot of it is technique too, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, if you're fast but don't have great form, you might be, if you hit the hurdle if you hit it going over, that's going to slow you down because that's more time you're in the air hitting the hurdle, while other kids who are smoother will get over it faster than you and will get to the next hurdle faster than you will.
Now, you were in the paper the other day. You've made up your mind about your college. Where are you going to end up?
I'm going to go to Aquinas College in Grand Rapids.
And you're going to be on the track team, obviously.
Yes.
Did they seek you out, or did you go and check with them?
Well, my sister went there, so I was already familiar with
Gotcha.
them. And then they also sent me a track letter last year when I made it to state, so that kind of piqued my interest to go there.
Have you met with the track coaches and everything?
Numerous times, yes.
And so what do they have in store for you? What are they planning for you?
For this upcoming fall, they're just going to kind of let me do the 110s and high jump and just kind of see what I can do, and then mold me into what they think I'd be really good at.
So you've already graduated.
Yep.
And when was that? Last weekend?
That was May 19th, so quite a
So
while
you've been
ago.
graduated for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
That's a big day, huh?
Yeah.
That had to feel good to
Yeah.
walk across that stage, shake Mr. Cook's hand,
Yeah.
and get that diploma. A long time coming.
Yep.
But that also means no more Wildcat basketball.
Nope.
And you've had incredible seasons with Coach Berger in basketball. Is there any chance that we'll see you on a basketball court again?
It's not on my future. I'm kind of thinking about maybe walking on, but I'm not too sure yet. I'd have to improve my game quite a bit.
So it's a possibility. So Aquinas for you next year, and that'll be really, really cool. I guess, Michelle, I read the newspaper stuff about you. I just assumed you were a senior. So when I ask you about your future is reading high school one more year.
Yep.
Continue to work on all of this stuff that you're working on. It's going to be kind of a tough act to follow. In a way, it's going to be hard to top it, right?
Yeah, probably, but I think if I just keep working, I'd like to think I haven't peaked yet.
So what you're saying is you might not be able to win more championships because you already won 3 of them, but you could beat your own personal records, right?
Yeah, that'd be my goal.
Is there a school record hanging out there that you think you might be able to take out this year?
You mean my senior year?
Mm-hmm.
Not alone, but I think our relay teams we've had a lot of freshmen this year that did awesome, and I think we can take out the same ones we took out last year, or maybe the 800 relay that we still haven't taken out.
What's it like at Reading for track? Because you have such a strong baseball team every year. Your softball team was in districts. There are only so many athletes to go around, and you said that you can't duel at Reading, right?
Well, I think you can in the spring.
So the spring you could do softball and track.
Yeah, not many people do it, though.
You have so many athletes at your school split up in so many different ways. Do you think that the track gets a lot of attention? Do people go up and watch your meets and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of support from everybody. The baseball, softball team supports us, and we try and support them, and I think it all goes around pretty well. I think it helps. We only have 2 sports, whereas a lot of other teams in the Big 8 have 3 sports. Usually they have soccer also, but we only have 2.
No Ranger soccer.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Deborah Price, the head coach at Reading, obviously second in the state, a runner-up. Now, who's your Mr. Teft is your track coach?
Mr. Heft.
Or Heft, I'm sorry. Heft is the boys and girls track coach at Pittsford. And they did really well. And, of course, Andy Hauser with the state title in the 110s. I saw that photo of you two in the paper, the athletes of the year at the area's best. You've represented your schools with tremendous class, obviously, and you've accomplished so much. And then to go to state and represent Hillsdale County at state with some state titles and bringing home that hardware, I can't congratulate both of you enough. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We really appreciate Michelle and Andy for being here, and look for Michelle next year on a track near you. In fact, you're doing a half marathon this summer?
Yeah, I think so.
So that doesn't sound fun at all. When do you start training for that?
I already started.
So a half marathon, let me do the math. That's 13-something, right?
I think it's 12.
13.1.
Is it really?
13.1.
No problem.
Okay.
You can knock that out.
In your sleep.
My sister and I are going to do it together.
Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
When we come back, we'll bring in the panel, talk a little Detroit Tigers baseball right after this on the Time Out Show.